hold up, hold up, hold up. Did Offset just flip the entire divorce playbook upside down? Because what I'm about to tell you is so wild, so unexpected, so absolutely unhinged that even the most seasoned celebrity divorce lawyers are scratching their heads right now. Offset. Yes. That Offset, one-third of the Megos, the bad and bougie rapper Cardi B's on-again, off-again husband, just filed for spousal support. Not child support, not visitation rights. Spousal support. He wants Cardi B to maintain his lifestyle. He wants one of her houses, and get this, he's demanding half of her $80 million net worth, citing gender equality in the court proceedings. The audacity, the nerve, the absolute chaos of it all. And Cardi, oh honey, she is not having it. She went nuclear on social media, calling him everything but a child of God, saying she hopes he dies slowly, thinking about me, and exposing him for not seeing their kids since March. We're talking scorched earth, no prisoners, career-ending level of dragging. But here's where this story gets really messy. The internet is divided. Some are calling Offset weak, pathetic, a deadbeat trying to cash in. Others are pointing out the uncomfortable truth that women have been doing this exact same thing for decades without anyone batting an eye. So why is it different when a man asks for spousal support? Buckle up, because we're about to dive into the messiest, most controversial celebrity divorce of the year. And trust me, nobody's coming out clean. Let's rewind and get the full picture. Because Cardi and Offset's relationship has been a roller coaster from day one. They met back in 2016, and by 2017, they were collaborating on the track Lick, which, looking back, feels like ironic foreshadowing considering how this all played out. They were all over each other's performances, appearing together, vibing, looking like hip-hop's new power couple. Then, on September 20th, 2017, they got secretly married. Nobody knew. Not the fans, not the media, not even some of their closest friends. It was intimate, private, and allegedly very real. But by early 2018, cracks started showing. Cheating rumors about Offset began circulating. Whispers, blind items, alleged receipts. In February 2018, pregnancy speculation hit the blogs. Cardi was glowing, but the relationship already looking shaky. Over the next few years, it was an endless cycle of breakups and makeups. They'd announce splits, then reconcile, file for divorce, then withdraw the papers, post cryptic messages, then show up together, award shows, acting like nothing happened. It was exhausting just watching it, let alone living it. And now, we're at the final chapter. Except this time, there's a major plot twist nobody saw coming. Cardi is pregnant, allegedly with Stefon Diggs' child, the NFL star, and she's supposedly in a new relationship while still legally married to Offset. Meanwhile, Offset is demanding half her fortune and calling it equality. The mess of it all is unprecedented. So let's talk about what Offset is actually asking for, because this is where people are losing their minds. According to court documents that leaked, Offset's legal team filed for two painte, spousal support to maintain the lifestyle he's become accustomed to during the marriage. Half of Cardi B's net worth, which is reportedly around $80 million. One of their properties, a whole, not just a settlement check. Gender equality consideration in the divorce proceedings. That last point, chef's kiss level petty. Because what Offset is essentially saying is, women do this all the time, I'm just playing by the same rules. And you know what? He's not wrong. When a woman marries a wealthy man and files for divorce, demanding spousal support, alimony, child support, and half the assets is considered standard procedure. Nobody questions it. Nobody calls her weak or a gold digger. Well, some do, but society generally accepts it as justified. But flip the script? Have a man demand the same thing from a wealthy woman? Suddenly, it's outrageous. He's a deadbeat. He's pathetic. He needs to get a job and man up. The double standard is real, and Offset just exposed it in the most public way possible. Now, Cardi B is not the type to stay quiet when someone comes for her. And when she found out about Offset's spousal support filing, she went off, like apocalyptic levels of rage. She hopped on Twitter, or X, or whatever we're calling it now, and posted a video that immediately went viral. And I'm talking millions of views within hours. In it, she's visibly furious, pacing, gesturing wildly, and dropping some of the most savage lines we've heard in celebrity divorce history.
listen up. Y'all listening? Listen up. The fact that I'm waking up right now, right? The fact that I'm waking up right now to see that this and his ass team, I know it's not his team. I know it's his bitch ass. Gonna tell the Breakfast Club the only reason why this motherfucker asking for spousal support, because I was asking for everything. Because I was asking for everything. And because I don't be with my kids. Yo, you such a puss ass. Word to my mother. I want you to die, but I want you to die fucking slow. When you die, nigga, I want you to die slow in the bed. And while you die, nigga, you gotta think of me. Let me tell y'all something, right? When I first filed for fucking child support, my lawyer filed for child support. I mean, when I first filed for divorce, my lawyer filed for shit. And this nigga started spazzing, right? So I told my lawyer, there's a renew, what's that shit called? There's a renew divorce paper, right? And in the renewed divorce paper, I asked for no child support. I didn't ask for no child support because I want to be done with this marriage. Like, I feel like I'm tied up. I asked for no child support. Kiari is allowed to see my kids. There is not one day that he's not allowed to see my kids. Okay? He stood up my kids 3 times. He have seen Blossom only like 5 times. Okay? And I've been trying to save your face. But for you, stop playing saying that I don't be seeing my kids. Stop playing. Because you don't want to look like a less of a chest. All right. If I keep you away from the kids, right? All right. You talk to the kids almost every single day. You call the kids every single day. I allow you to talk to the kids every single day. If I allow you to talk to the kids, why would I not allow you not to see the kids? It was a point that he was making a big deal like, oh, I'm not going to go to New York to see the kids because I'm not going to be seeing my kids in a hotel room. All right. I was like, all right, so you could see him in my mom's house. You still made it a big deal. And I love my daughter so much. Yo, if I'm lying, my kids could die if I'm lying. I said, you know what? To make it easier for you, you could see the kids in my house. Just because I want my daughter to feel the love of her dad. Because I want my kids to have that love of their dad. I want the love of both parents, even if we're not together. Also, the last time we seen the kids was in March on Cody's birthday. Okay? So before you start talking to me about I don't see my kids, let's talk about it. You haven't seen the kids since March. Okay? You say it was gonna...
So right off the bat, she's calling him petty, saying he's only filing for spousal support as retaliation because she initially asked for a bigger settlement. It's not about the money. It's about revenge. Then she drops this absolute bomb. I want you to die, but I want you to die slow. When you die, I want you to die slow in the bed. And while you die, you gotta think of me. Whoa, that's not just anger. That's biblical levels of rage. She wants him to suffer slowly while thinking about how badly he messed up. The internet exploded. Some people were shocked by the intensity. Others were like, you know what? Fair. That she wasn't done. Cardi then addressed the child support issue directly. When I first filed for divorce, my lawyer filed for child support and this expletive started spazzing. So I told my lawyer to file renewed divorce papers with NO child support. I didn't ask for no child support because I want to be done with this marriage. I feel like I'm tied up. Let me repeat that. Cardi voluntarily gave up child support just to get away from him faster. She has 3 kids with this man, and she said, keep your money, I just want out. That's how badly she wanted to end things. But it gets messier, because Cardi also addressed Offset's claims that she's keeping him away from their kids. And honey, she came with according to Cardi, Offset stood up their kids 3 times. He's only seen their daughter Blossom about 5 times since she was born. The last time he saw the kids was in March. This video was posted months later. He calls the kids every day, which Cardi allows and encourages. She went on to explain that she bent over backwards to make it easy for him to see the children. She offered hotel visits. He complained. She offered her mom's house. He complained. Finally, she even told him he could see the kids in her own house, just so their daughter could feel her father's love. And what did he do? Allegedly still barely showed up. Cardi's frustration was palpable. I want my kids to have the love of both parents, even if we're not together. But you haven't seen the kids since March. So before you start talking about, I don't see my kids, let's talk about it. That's not just anger. That's a mother protecting her children and calling out a father who's allegedly not pulling his weight. Now here's where things get even dark. According to sources close to the situation, and again, this is alleged, not confirmed, Offset was still visiting Cardi's house under the guise of spending time with the kids. But allegedly, he was also using those visits to sleep with her and manipulate her emotionally. Think about that. He'd show up, play the doting father for a minute, then allegedly use intimacy to keep her emotionally tied to him. Classic manipulation tactics designed to make it harder for her to fully move on. If true, that's not just messy, that's toxic. And it would explain why Cardi is so furious now. Because she gave him chances. She tried to co-parent peacefully. She even withdrew child support to make things easier. And he allegedly took advantage of that kindness. But let's zoom out for a second and talk about the real issue here. The gender double standard in divorce proceeding. Because this case is exposing something society has been uncomfortable addressing for a long time. When a woman marries a wealthy man and gets divorced, the expectation is she deserves alimony, because she dealt with the relationship. She deserves child support because she's the prime caregiver real. She deserves half the assets because she was there from the beginning. She deserves spousal support to maintain her lifestyle, and society generally agrees. We justify it. We say she earned it. She put up with his cheating, his career demands, his absences. She sacrificed her own career to support his. She deserves compensation. But flip it, have a man ask for the same thing. Suddenly, he's a deadbeat, a gold digger. Weak, a baby mama, as Cardi called Offset, someone who needs to get a job. The hypocrisy is stunning. And Offset, intentionally or not, just forced everyone to confront it. Look, I'm not saying Offset is a saint. By all accounts, he allegedly cheated multiple times, wasn't present for his kids, and behaved badly throughout the marriage. But if we're going to have laws that allow for spousal support, those laws need to apply equally, regardless of gender. You can't champion equality only when it benefits you. That's not equality. That's selective justice. This case is bigger than Cardi and Offset. It's exposing the uncomfortable truth that our divorce system has major gender biases, just not always the ones we talk about. For decades, men have complained that divorce courts favor women, that they lose their houses, their savings, their kids. And statistically, they're not entirely wrong. Women do win custody more often, they do receive alimony and child support at higher rates. But society justified it by saying women sacrifice more in marriages. They give up careers, they do more childcare, they deserve compensation. Except, what happens when the woman is the primary breadwinner? What happens when the man was the one making sacrifices? What happens when traditional gender roles are flipped? That's where we are now. Cardi was the bigger star. She made more money. She had more career opportunity. And if Offset can prove he made sacrifices for her career, turned down tours, stayed home with kids, supported her publicly, then legally, he might have a case. Does that make it morally right? That's for you to decide. But it's exposing that our divorce laws and social attitudes don't line up with modern reality. So the $1 million question, or $40 million question in this case, will Offset actually get spousal support? Legally, it depends on several factors. They give a marriage. They were married from 2017 to now, so about 7 years. That's significant. Financial disparity. Cardi is worth significantly more, which could support his claim. Career sacrifices. If Offset can prove he turned down opportunities to support Cardi's career or care for their children, he might have a case. State laws, depending on where they file, laws vary dramatically on spousal prenup status. If they have a prenup and smart money says they do, that could override everything. Most legal experts say he probably won't get half her net worth, but he might get a settlement and temporary spousal support. Because at the end of the day, courts are supposed to apply laws equally. But here's the real consequence. If more men start successfully filing for spousal support from wealthy women, you can bet behavior will change. Women might be more careful about who they marry. Prenups will become mandatory. And the whole marry rich and secure the bag strategy might lose its appeal when it goes both ways. As one commentator put it, if more men was getting spousal support, child support, and all this, it'll be less divorces, probably less marriages, and less having kids with guys they met off eBay because they wouldn't get nothing out of that. And we can't ignore the other elephant in the room. Cardi is allegedly pregnant with NFL star Stefon Diggs' baby while still legally married to Offset. That's not just messy, that's a legal nightmare. Because depending on the state, the husband is legally presumed to be the father of any child born during the marriage, even if biologically he's not. That means Offset could technically have legal rights to a child that isn't his. This adds another layer of urgency to why Cardi wants this divorce finalized quickly. She's trying to start a new life with a new man and a new baby, but she's still legally tied to her ex-husband, who's now demanding half her fortune. The timeline is wild, the optics are messy, and the legal complications are only beginning. Unsurprisingly, the internet is divided. Social media has split into camps. Team Cardi says Offset is a deadbeat father who barely sees his kids. He cheated multiple times and doesn't deserve anything. He's only doing this out of spite. Real men don't ask for spousal support. Team Offset says that women do this literally all the time without judgment. If we want equality, it has to go both ways. Cardi is moving on with another man while still married. He has every legal right to file for what women routinely receive, and honestly, both sides have valid points. That's what makes this so complicated. This isn't a clear-cut case of victim versus villain. It's two people who had a toxic relationship, handled it badly, and are now airing their dirty laundry in the messiest way possible while millions watch. What this case ultimately reveals is that we need to have honest conversations about equality in divorce proceedings should laws apply the same regardless of gender. Modern marriage dynamics, what happens when traditional roles are reversed? Parental responsibility. How do we hold both parents accountable? Financial justice. What does fair actually look like in high-wealth divorces? For too long, we've operated under outdated assumptions. Men make money, women raise kids. Divorce favors women, but reality is far more complex. Women are CEOs, men are stay-at-home parents. Breadwinners come in all genders. Our legal system needs to catch up, and our social attitudes need to evolve. So where does this leave us? Cardi B and Offset are heading for one of the messiest, most public divorces in recent memory. She's pregnant with another man's baby. He's demanding half her fortune. They're both accusing each other of being terrible parents, and the whole world is watching, picking sides, and debating who's right. But maybe the real question isn't who's the victim and who's the volunteer. Maybe it's, what does equality actually mean? Because if we only support it when it benefits us, it's not equality. It's just self-interest dressed up in progressive language. Offset might be petty. He might be spiteful. He might genuinely believe he deserves compensation. Or he might just be trolling the entire system to prove a point. Whatever his motivation, one thing's certain, this case is forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about gender, money, marriage, and what we really mean when we say we want equality. And honestly, that conversation is long overdue.